Now, here's a tale of the tape. The traditional way to sell your house is, of course, to hire a broker, put the house on the market, and take the best offer, or, as more and more people seem to be doing, posting it on Craigslist and marketing it themselves. Craigslist CEO Jim Buckmaster joins us now from San Francisco to tell us about this growing trend. First of all, congratulations on Craigslist. That thing is such a valuable. It's become irreplaceable. A lot of people depend on it the way we depend on Google now, right?
We like to hear that.
Now, before we get into housing, very quickly, are you going to try to make more money out of Craigslist than you have? Because you've been very clear about you'd rather keep it the way it is than expand it in something you could make money from.
Well, the reality is we're making plenty of money just charging for those things askers have, or I should say users have asked us to charge for. And so we're content just to leave it at that.
All right. And that leads us into our segment, real estate. How do I go about putting a house on Craigslist?
It's pretty easy. You click on the post a listing link in the upper left of the home page and just follow the instructions. It takes about a minute.
Any cost?
No, it's completely free. Completely
free. Have you ever thought of maybe tacking on a small surcharge to at least housing on Craigslist?
We haven't really. Everything that we do comes from users, and that's not something that users have asked for.
So what about the blowback? You know, everybody in the housing market seems prepared, just on the verge to suing everybody else. Lenders are going to sue borrowers. Borrowers are going to sue lenders. There are a lot of lawsuits coming down. Are you concerned at all that Craigslist has any liability? For example, maybe somebody put out a price on Craigslist that was overblown?
Generally speaking, we're insulated from liability for things that our users are doing on the site. Of course, we don't want inappropriate activity on the site, so we do everything that we can to hold that to a minimum.
Now, what about real estate agents? I imagine they are none too pleased about what you're doing.
Well, I would say on the contrary, in that, most of the real estate listings on our site are still made by brokers, so they obviously like the site.
I see. So the brokers themselves will put it on Craigslist. Well, then why do I go to a broker if all they're doing is putting it on Craigslist? I could do that.
Well, that's a question that more and more people are asking.
And the answer is?
Well, we're seeing an increasing trend where our users, anyway, are choosing to sell their home without the use of a broker, and we get a lot of success stories from people who have sold, got their price, sold quickly, no hassle, all without using a broker.
All right, Jim, stay with us if you can. We want to bring in DollyLenz, who is one of the best brokers in the business. She sells homes like there's no tomorrow. You just sold 3 or 4 today, right, Dolly?
That's right.
Have you ever used Craigslist?
Never heard of it.
Oh, come on. Of course you've heard of it. What about it, though? Do you ever think of using it?
It wouldn't fit for what I do. I do luxury marketing, so it would be from 700,000, let's say, in New York City to 125 million. And I don't think it would work for us. We have other websites. We have other ways we promote property.
Well, let me switch back quickly to Jim, if I could. Jim, what is the highest price that you've seen on Craigslist for a house?
Certainly, there's lots of listings in the many tens of millions. New York is our biggest market for real estate listings.
Have you seen townhouses, condos, co-ops, whatever, in New York going for more than $1 million on Craigslist?
Oh, yeah. As I say, lots of listings in the tens of millions.
So, Dolly, somebody's doing it, so whether they're the owners themselves or real estate agents. Have you heard of fellow agents who might be using Craigslist?
I can't imagine the need for Craigslist in New York. We have so many fabulous websites, from our own, Prudential website to the Rebney website. There isn't a need.
And it's still a seller's market in Manhattan.
It's still a seller's market, and you also want to control the marketing. You don't want to be on a list.
Why not?
Because you don't want to be one of many. You want to be special. You want to be unique. Our whole job is to differentiate one listing from another, one seller from another. Why are you special? And that's what we point out on our website.
Well, but Dolly, I mean, it comes down to a bottom line. You're in business to be in business. You take a percentage of the sale. I don't know how much that is, 5, 6%, or maybe even 1%.
As much as we can get.
As much as you can get. But in Craigslist, it's free. It's zero.
But that's not really true. I'll tell you, you don't really know if the seller is not paying a commission or the buyer is netting out a commission. You know, nothing is free.
Well, but Jim, I mean, sometimes a buyer and a seller get together, just a buyer, just a seller on Craigslist. They make a deal, and no commission goes anywhere, not to you or anybody else, right?
Absolutely. We're seeing, you know, tens and tens of thousands of buy-owner listings on the site each month.
So, Dolly, it is hard to argue with that when an owner... I got to tell you, Dolly, I have bought a couple of places in New York, in the New York Times. I saw an advertisement in the New York Times both times. I got a deal. I didn't deal with a broker. There's nothing wrong with that if you can arrange it, is there?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it's not necessarily the best way to do it. You probably looked with a broker and you just happened to have found these two listings. You know, full disclosure, full information. I still think broker is very necessary.